Everything you've been told about the universe's edge is backwards. We imagine it like the rim of a plate, a place you could theoretically reach if you traveled far enough. But the edge of the universe isn't a location. It's a moment. It's not somewhere in space, it's somewhere in time. Stand anywhere in the cosmos, and you are precisely at the center of your own visible universe, surrounded by an horizon you can never cross. Not because there's a wall, but because the past itself has a limit. We're not living in a container, we're living in an echo. And that changes everything about what it means to exist. There exists a photograph taken by a machine we built that shows 13 billion years into the past. 13 billion. When I first saw it, I didn't feel wonder, I felt terror. Because at the edge of that image, where the universe should simply end, it doesn't. It curves. You see, most of us have been taught to think about the universe's edge the way we think about an ocean's horizon. Something distant, yes, unreachably far, but theoretically a place you could arrive at if you traveled long enough. A rim, a boundary. The place where things simply stop. But that photograph I mentioned, that deep field image captured by our telescopes, it reveals something that dissolves that comfortable idea entirely. The edge of the universe isn't a location you can point to on a map. It's not a wall at the end of space. It's something far stranger. And once you truly understand what it is, it changes everything about how you hold your own small life in your hands. I've spent 60 years of my life asking the natural world questions. What makes the heart of a hummingbird beat 200 times a minute? How do whales sing to each other across entire oceans? Why does the arc of a hunting peregrine falcon follow the mathematics of a perfect spiral? But there's one question I avoided for most of that time, and I avoided it because it felt too enormous, too destabilizing, too likely to pull the ground out from under every certainty I'd built. The question was this: if the universe has an edge, what is it an edge of? What borders infinity? And more unsettling still, if we're inside the universe, what does it mean that we can see that edge? What are we looking at when we look at the boundary of everything? The reason this matters, the reason I'm asking you to come with me on this journey tonight, is because the answer to that question changes your relationship with cosmic anxiety. You know that feeling, I'm sure you do. That vertigo that comes when you look up at the night sky and feel yourself shrinking, becoming irrelevant, a speck of dust in an uncaring vastness. We've all been there. I've been there. And we've been taught in subtle and not so subtle ways that this feeling is the truth, that we are cosmically insignificant, temporary, accidental, lost in an infinite container that neither knows nor cares that we exist. But what if I told you that framework is backwards? What if the edge of the universe, properly understood, reveals that you are not trapped in a box, that you're not a speck inside something vast and indifferent? What if the structure of reality itself places you at the center of your own universe? And that's not metaphor, that's not poetry, that's physics. The edge of the universe proves something extraordinary. That objectivity, the God's eye view we've all been taught to imagine, doesn't exist. Reality is always someone's reality, and yours is just as real, just as central as anyone else's. Now, I know how that sounds. It sounds like mysticism, like New Age thinking. Like I'm about to tell you that you create your own reality with your thoughts, but I'm not. What I'm going to show you is that the structure of space-time itself, the mathematics of relativity and expansion, prove that your perspective isn't just valid, it's necessary. The universe you observe forms a sphere around you, and no one else can see exactly what you see. That's not because you're special. It's because observation itself creates perspective. And perspective is the only way the universe exists at all. So let me take you back to that photograph. The Hubble Deep Field, or its successor, the James Webb Deep Field, scientists pointed our most powerful telescope at a tiny, seemingly empty patch of sky, no bigger than a grain of sand held at arm's length, and they left the shutter open, gathering light for days. And what emerged from that darkness were thousands of galaxies. Thousands. each one containing hundreds of billions of stars, each star potentially surrounded by planets, each galaxy so distant that the light reaching us left when the universe was young, when the first stars were just beginning to forge the heavier elements, when there was no Earth, no sun, no possibility yet of you or me. But here's what struck me with that cold electric feeling in my chest. At the furthest reaches of that image, the galaxies begin to look strange. They're stretched, distorted, red-shifted we call it, because their light has been pulled toward the red end of the spectrum by the expansion of space itself. They're not just far away, they're far away in time. We're looking backward, watching the universe as it was billions of years ago. And at the very edge, at the limit of what even our most sophisticated instruments can detect, there's a boundary, not a wall, not a curtain, but a horizon. Beyond it, the universe becomes opaque. Not because there's nothing there, but because we've reached the limit of what light can show us. Let me take you to a cold night in 1929, to a mountaintop observatory in California, where a man named Edwin Hubble was doing something that seemed routine at the time. He was measuring galaxies, those faint smudges of light that earlier astronomers had thought might be clouds of gas within our own Milky Way. But Hubble had proven they were far more extraordinary than that. They were entire island universes, each one a collection of hundreds of billions of stars separated from us by gulfs of space so vast that light itself took millions of years to cross them. But on this particular night, Hubble made a measurement that changed everything. He was analyzing the light from these distant galaxies, looking at the specific wavelengths, the fingerprints that tell us what elements are burning in distant stars. And he noticed something impossible. Every single galaxy he measured, the light was shifted toward the red end of the spectrum. Every single one. Not just a few. Not the ones in one direction. All of them. In every direction. Moving away. Now imagine standing in the center of a vast crowd and you notice that everyone around you is walking away. Your first instinct would be personal, wouldn't it? What's wrong with me? Why is everyone leaving? But then imagine you ask someone else in that crowd and they say, no, everyone's walking away from me too. And you ask a third person and they say the same thing. Everyone is walking away from everyone. That's when the floor drops out from under you. Because the only way that can be true is if the space between people is growing. The crowd isn't moving through a room. The room itself is expanding. Hubble sat with this data and I'm told he felt physically ill. Because the implication was unavoidable. The universe is expanding. Not expanding into something, mind you, just expanding. The fabric of space itself is stretching, carrying galaxies apart like raisins in rising bread. And if everything is moving away from everything else now, then you can run the film backward. You can trace it all back. Back through billions of years. Back to a moment when all the space, all the matter, all the energy, everything that is, was compressed into an infinitesimally small point. The Big Bang, we call it now, though I've never liked that name. It sounds too much like an explosion in space, when what we're really talking about is the explosion of space itself. Hubble didn't want this to be true. He spent years trying to disprove his own findings because they felt too mythological, too much like the creation stories every culture tells. But the evidence wouldn't budge. The mathematics were clear, and here's where we get to the edge, to that question mark written in fire. If the universe began 13.8 billion years ago, and light travels at a fixed speed, then there's a limit to what we can see. Light from galaxies more than 13.8 billion light years away simply hasn't had time to reach us yet. We're surrounded by a horizon, a sphere of visibility defined not by where things are, but by how long light has been traveling. But it's even stranger than that, because the universe has been expanding while that light traveled. A galaxy that emitted light 13 billion years ago isn't 13 billion light years away anymore. It's more like 46 billion light years away now, carried by the expansion of space itself. So the observable universe, the sphere of everything we can possibly see, is about 93 billion light years across. But that's not the edge of the universe. That's the edge of what we can observe. The universe itself may go on forever, or it may not. We don't know. We can't know. Because there is a fundamental horizon to our knowledge built into the structure of space-time itself. Now let me give you the metaphor that finally made this click for me, because I know how abstract this all sounds. Imagine an ant living on the surface of a balloon. The ant's entire universe is that curved two-dimensional surface. It can crawl forward, backward, left, right, but it has no concept of up or down. It's trapped, in a sense, in two dimensions. Now someone begins inflating the balloon. From the ant's perspective, every other ant on the balloon starts moving away. Not because they're walking, not because something pushed them, but because the surface itself is stretching. Now ask the ant, where is the center of your universe? Where did the expansion begin? The ant would search and search, crawling over the rubber, examining every square inch, and it would find no center. Because the center isn't on the surface. The center is in three-dimensional space, in the middle of the balloon, in a dimension the ant cannot access or even conceive of. For the ant, there is no center. Or more accurately, every point is equally the center because the expansion is happening everywhere at once. We are that ant. Our three-dimensional space, this universe we move through, is like the surface of that balloon. It's expanding, but not into anything we can point to. The center of the Big Bang isn't a location in space. It's a moment in time. 13.8 billion years ago, every point in space was the center. You were at the center, I was at the center, the most distant galaxy we can see was at the center. Because there was no space yet. Everything that is was compressed into a singular point, and then space itself began to stretch. This is why the edge is insane, because you can't travel to it. It's not a place, it's a horizon of time and light. Stand anywhere in the universe, anywhere at all, and you are precisely at the center of your own observable universe. A sphere of visibility surrounds you, defined by how far light has traveled since the beginning. Step 1 meter to your left, and the sphere moves with you. You are always, from your own perspective, standing at the exact center of everything you can see. And here's where it gets even stranger, where my mind starts to bend and I have to sit down with a cup of tea and just breathe for a moment. If you're at the center and I'm at the center, whose universe is real? The answer, and this is what relativity teaches us, what quantum mechanics hints at, what every modern understanding of physics points toward, is that they're both real. There is no God's eye view. There is no objective universe that exists independent of observation. Reality is the intersection of space, time, light, and perspective. Remove the observer, and the question, what does the universe look like, becomes meaningless. Now, I need to slow down here because this is the part where people often feel like they're being told that reality is subjective, that truth is just opinion, that science has somehow given up on objectivity, but that's not what I'm saying at all. The galaxies are real, the stars are real, the expansion is real. What's not real is the idea that there's one single view of the universe that's more true than any other. Your observable universe and mine overlap, but they're not identical. We each live in our own light cone, our own sphere of causality and visibility. And that's not a bug in reality, that's how reality is structured. Let me explain it this way. The edge of the observable universe for you is roughly 46 billion light years away in every direction. But that edge represents light that left its source 13.8 billion years ago, at the moment the universe became transparent. Before that moment, the universe was so hot and dense that light couldn't travel freely. It was an opaque fog of plasma. The cosmic microwave background, that faint afterglow we can still detect today, is the light from that moment, stretched and cooled by billions of years of expansion. It's the oldest light in existence. Beyond it, we cannot see, not because there's nothing there, but because the universe itself was opaque. The edge is the birth of visibility. So when we look at the edge of the observable universe, we're not seeing distant space, we're seeing distant time. We're watching the universe as it was in its infancy. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Those ancient galaxies at the edge, they're seeing us at their edge. From their perspective, we're the ancient ones. They're looking at the Milky Way as it was billions of years ago, when the sun hadn't formed yet, when Earth was still just dust and possibility. There is no universal now. No cosmic clock ticking away somewhere that determines what moment is the present. The present is always local. Your now and my now are synchronized because we're close together, moving at similar speeds. But get far enough apart, move fast enough, and our nows separate. Time itself becomes relative. And this brings me to perhaps the most profound implication of the edge. The universe is not a container we exist inside. It's not a box or a room or a stage. It's better understood as a web of relationships. Space isn't a thing. It's the relationship between events. Time isn't a river we float along. It's the unfolding of causality from one moment to the next. And the edge, that horizon of visibility, is simply the limit of how far those relationships can reach before information itself runs out of time to arrive. Think about your own life for a moment. You have a horizon too, a limit to what you can know, what you can affect, what can affect you. Everything beyond that horizon is, in a practical sense, not part of your universe. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it can't touch you and you can't touch it. You can spend your whole life worried about things beyond your horizon, about possibilities and disasters and judgments that are causally disconnected from your actual lived experience. But they're not in your light cone. They can't reach you. The edge of the universe teaches us something about how to live. It teaches us that horizons aren't walls. They're not failures of limitation. They're the structure of being finite. You cannot know everything. You cannot see everything. You cannot be everywhere at once. And that's not a flaw in you, that's the nature of existence itself. Even the universe has an edge to what it can know about itself. Even light, the fastest thing that exists, has a speed limit. Information takes time. Causality has boundaries. But here's what's beautiful about it. Within your horizon, within your light cone, you are sovereign, you are the center. Not because you're special, not because you're chosen, but because that's how perspective works. The universe you experience is real. The relationships you form are real. The choices you make ripple outward through your sphere of influence, and they matter just as much as anyone else's choices matter in their sphere. You're not a speck in someone else's universe. You're the center of your own. Now, I want to take you even further because there's one more layer to this that most people never think about, and it's the layer that truly makes the edge insane. Not only is the universe expanding, but the expansion is accelerating. We discovered this only recently, in the late 1990 seconds, and it won the discoverers a Nobel Prize because it was so shocking. The universe isn't just coasting apart on the momentum of the Big Bang. It's being pushed apart by something we don't understand. We call it dark energy, but that's just a name for our ignorance. It's a placeholder. What we know is that empty space itself has energy, and that energy pushes outward, making the expansion faster and faster. And here's what that means for the edge. Right now, there are galaxies we can see that are already moving away from us faster than light. Not because they're traveling through space faster than light, that's still impossible, but because the space between us and them is expanding faster than light can cross it. Those galaxies are slipping beyond our cosmological horizon. Their light will become more and more redshifted, stretched to longer and longer wavelengths, until eventually it fades to nothing. They will disappear from our universe. Not because they stopped existing, but because we've become causally disconnected. They're still there in the broader universe, but they're no longer part of our observable universe. In trillions of years, if some civilization still exists, if stars are still burning, the view from Earth or wherever that civilization lives will be vastly different. The distant galaxies will have vanished. The cosmic microwave background will have redshifted into invisibility. Future astronomers will look out and see only their local group of galaxies, held together by gravity, floating in an ocean of darkness. They won't be able to see the expansion. They won't know the universe had a beginning. All the evidence we have today for the Big Bang, for the larger cosmos, will be gone. The universe will have aged beyond the point where its own history is visible. That thought stops me cold every time. The evidence for our cosmic story is temporary. We happen to live in an era where we can still see the afterglow of creation, where distant galaxies are still visible, where the structure of space-time reveals itself to patient observation. We're living in a brief window of cosmic time where the universe can know itself, and that window is closing. Not in our lifetimes, not in the lifetime of the sun, but on the timescale of the universe itself. We're living in the age of visibility. Before, the universe was opaque. Eventually, it will become dark. And in between right now, we can see. I find that both humbling and astonishing. We're not late to the story. We're not looking at the dying embers of an ancient cosmos. We're living at the moment when the universe is just mature enough to have developed observers, just old enough to have a visible history, just structured enough to be comprehensible. The edge is visible to us. The story is readable, and that feels to me like an almost unbearable responsibility and an extraordinary gift. We get to see this, we get to know this. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you live with the understanding that you're standing at the center of a sphere of visibility, surrounded by horizons you can never cross, in a universe that may be infinite, but that you can only ever experience as finite? Let me offer you a few practices, a few ways of holding this that have helped me. First, shift from thinking of yourself as trapped in the universe to recognizing that you are made of it. You're not inside a container, you're not a visitor here. The atoms in your body were forged in the cores of dying stars. The water in your cells rode comets across the early solar system. The iron in your blood was created in a supernova explosion billions of years ago. You're not separate from the cosmos looking in. You're what the cosmos is doing right here, in this form, at this moment. You're not in the universe. You are what the universe is doing. When I feel small, when I catch myself spiraling into that familiar vertigo of cosmic insignificance, I place my hand on my chest and I say this to myself: I am not in the universe. I am what the universe is doing right now. And I feel the difference, because it's not just a reframe, it's literally true. I'm not a marble in a box. I'm an event, a process, a brief local organization of matter and energy that has the capacity to observe, to feel, to choose. And when I'm gone, the atoms that made me will continue. They'll become soil, plants, air, other creatures. The universe will continue doing what it does. But this particular way of doing, this specific pattern, this me, only happens once. Second, embrace your horizon. You will never know everything. You can't. There is a horizon to your knowledge, just like there's a horizon to the cosmos. And that's not a failure. That's not a limitation you should be ashamed of. It's the structure of being finite. And finite doesn't mean small. It means specific. It means located. It means yours. When I encounter something I don't understand, a problem I can't solve, a person whose inner world is opaque to me, I try to say this: this is at my horizon, not beyond my limits, at my horizon. Because horizons aren't walls. They're not permanent boundaries. They're the current edge of what I can see, what I can know, what I can touch. And they can expand, slowly, carefully, but they can expand. Every time I learn something new, every time I form a new relationship, every time I gain a new skill or perspective, my horizon shifts outward. I can see a little further. I can reach a little further. But I'll always have a horizon, and that's okay. That's how existence works. Third, center yourself without arrogance. You are the center of your observable reality. That's not ego. That's geometry. You're the center because that's how perspective works. Every observer is at the center of their own sphere of visibility. You're not the center because you're special. You're the center because that's the structure of space-time. And what this means practically is that you can stop comparing your life to imaginary external standards. Stop measuring yourself against a God's eye view that doesn't exist. There is no universal measuring stick. There is no cosmic report card. There's only your horizon, your light cone, your lived experience. And within that, you get to decide what matters. You get to choose what you value, what you pursue, what you build, not in isolation, of course. Your light cone overlaps with billions of other light cones. Your choices affect others. Their choices affect you. But you don't need to carry the weight of perspectives that can't touch you. When someone criticizes you, ask yourself, is this in my light cone? Can this person actually affect me? Can I affect them? If the answer is no, if it's a distant opinion from someone who will never know you, never touch your life, then it's beyond your cosmological horizon. It's noise from a galaxy that's already slipped beyond the edge. Let it go. Not as callousness, not as arrogance, but as physics. Respect the limits of causality. Fourth and finally, live in your light cone. Everything that can affect you is in your past light cone. It's already happened, already sent its light toward you, already set the conditions for this present moment. And everything you can affect is in your future light cone. The choices you make now ripple outward at the speed of causality, influencing the people and events within your reach. The rest, the hypothetical futures, the distant disasters you can't touch, the opinions of people who don't know you, all of that is outside your light cone. And trying to live as if you're responsible for things beyond your horizon is not noble. It's not compassionate. It's just exhausting. And it doesn't help anyone. I'm not saying be indifferent to suffering. I'm not saying don't care about the world. I'm saying this. You cannot hold the weight of the entire universe. You were never meant to. Even light has a speed limit. Even information takes time. You can only be responsible for what's in your sphere of influence, what you can actually touch. And within that sphere, you can do tremendous good. You can be present, you can be kind. You can make choices that ripple outward and touch other lives. But you cannot save everyone. You cannot fix everything. You cannot even know everything that's happening. And that's okay. That's not a moral failing. That's the structure of being finite in an expanding universe. Let me bring you back now. Back from the edge, back to this moment, this conversation between you and me. We started with a photograph, an image captured by a telescope we built, showing 13 billion years into the past. And I told you it terrified me because the edge wasn't an edge. It was a question mark, a curve, a mirror, reflecting back the deepest questions we can ask about existence, time, and meaning. Now you know what I meant. The edge of the universe is insane because it exposes the fundamental paradox we live inside. We are finite beings in something that may be infinite. We are observers who create our own centers simply by existing. We are made of stardust, trapped in light cones, able to see backward through time but never forward, surrounded by horizons we can never cross but that define everything we can know and be. And yet, and here's the gift hidden in all this madness, those horizons don't trap you. They locate you. They give you a place to stand. Without edges, there's no perspective. Without perspective, there's no meaning. The universe doesn't have meaning in some abstract objective sense. It has meaning because there are finite observers like you and me who can experience it, who can feel awe, who can ask why. You are not lost in an uncaring void. You are the universe's way of witnessing itself from one precise, unrepeatable angle. The edge proves it. You're not looking at the cosmos from outside. You're looking from within it, as it, through it. You are what 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution has produced. You are what stars died to create. You are what the universe does when it becomes conscious of itself. Here's what I want you to carry forward like a stone in your pocket, like a mantra you can return to when the vertigo comes back. You're not too small to matter. You're the exact size reality requires to be seen from here. That's not comfort. That's cosmology. That's the mathematical structure of space-time. That's relativity. That's the edge, teaching us its final lesson. The universe has an edge, but you're not standing outside it looking in. You're standing at the center of your own sphere of light, surrounded by 13.8 billion years of story, held in a web of causality that connects you to the first stars and the last. The edge is insane, but it's honestly insane. It doesn't lie to make you comfortable. It shows you the truth. You're bounded and infinite, trapped and central, temporary and made of eternity. And that's not a contradiction to solve. It's a paradox to live inside. I've spent my life in the company of the natural world, watching hummingbirds and whales and hunting falcons, learning their languages, understanding their strategies, marveling at the sheer inventiveness of life on this one small planet. And every creature I've studied, from the smallest beetle to the largest whale, exists in its own sphere of awareness, its own light cone. The beetle doesn't know about the whale doesn't consider the beetle, but they're both real. They're both central to their own experience. They're both what the universe is doing, and so are you. You're not more important than a beetle or less important than a galaxy. You're exactly as important as anything else that exists, which is to say, you're a necessary part of the whole. The universe would be incomplete without your specific perspective, your specific moment, your specific way of being conscious. And when you're gone, whenever that is, the universe will be different. Not destroyed, not diminished in some cosmic sense, but different. Because your light cone will collapse, your sphere of influence will dissipate, the ripples you made will continue outward for a while, touching other lives, affecting other choices, but the source, you, will be gone. That's not meant to be morbid, it's meant to be clarifying. You have a finite amount of time within your horizon, a finite number of moments to observe, to choose, to love, to build, to matter. And that finitude is what makes it precious. If you had infinite time, if your horizon never closed, nothing would be urgent, nothing would be sacred. It's the edge that gives everything meaning. It's the limit that makes the present matter. So, when you look up at the night sky tonight, or whenever you next have the chance, I want you to see it differently. Don't see an uncaring vastness. Don't see yourself shrinking into insignificance. See your horizon. See the sphere of light that surrounds you, carrying information from billions of years ago, from galaxies so distant they're already slipping away. See yourself at the center, not because you're chosen, but because that's how observation works. See the web of causality connecting you to everything that can touch you and everything you can touch. And see the edge, that beautiful, impossible boundary, where the universe curves back into question marks. The edge is where things stop making sense in the old way and start making sense in a new way. It's where we learn that we're not trapped. It's where we learn that we're not separate. It's where we learn that the universe isn't something happening to us, it's something we're participating in. And that participation, brief as it is, finite as it is, bounded by horizons we'll never cross, that participation is enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. If this perspective shifted something in you, if you felt that subtle click of recognition, that moment where the ground beneath your certainty moved just a little, do me a kindness. Let the algorithm know. Press that little thumb. Leave a word in the comments about what moment landed for you, what image stuck, what idea you're still turning over in your mind. Not for my ego, not for metrics, but because these conversations matter, because people are hungry for perspectives that take them seriously, that don't talk down, that offer the universe as it actually is, strange and beautiful and terrifying and home. And if you want more of these conversations, these journeys to the edges of what we know, the boundaries where science and philosophy and lived experience meet, then subscribe. Because the universe is full of edges, every discipline has them, every certainty has a boundary where it stops being certain. And each one has something to teach us about how to live, how to hold our small lives with dignity and meaning in a cosmos that's far stranger than we were taught. Thank you for traveling this far with me, for letting me take you to the edge and back. Until next time, keep looking up. Keep asking questions. Keep expanding your horizon, one careful step at a time. And remember, the edge isn't where things end, it's where your story begins. It's where the universe looks at itself through your eyes and says, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is what I am. And you, standing there at the center of your sphere of light, you're the proof.